Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, double honors, the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to Akim out there in the four quarters of the earth, proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, Brakathum. So, out here another week, near the end of the month, prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, America in the scriptures, and also many other names, and pretty much the downfall of the dollar, right? The downfall of the system, which is your ways of buying and selling, is about to change forever because, that oil reserve currency, which is better known as that petrodollar, that forced system, that's all about to change very shortly, as this report goes into, man. They're about to do away with it, with the fiat currency, better known as the petrodollar, because the promissory notes, the silver certificates, the gold and silver. Well, America ain't been trading that, but America's the global reserve currency. But that's all about to be done away with, as you know that they're planning to bring in a new central bank digital currency, and it's been happening over a great period of time. But they're planning to pretty much crash the dollar very shortly as this goes into.
The U.S. dollar is about 60% of the value of all the currency on the planet, and more than half of the dollars reside outside the United States. The reason every country has U.S. dollars is, first of all, that's what central banks use as a reserve currency. Second of all, oil is priced in dollars. So, this is the world, and what you see here is that these are the countries that are avoiding the U.S. dollar in trade. They're doing bilateral agreements where they'll either hold each other's currency and settle that way, or they're establishing, like right now, they're talking about a BRICS bank, Brazil,
yep, there it is.
Russia, India, China, and South Africa, having a bank that will do settlements between the countries.
But guess who just joined onto them? Saudi Arabia and Iran, right?
Tried to avoid using the U.S. dollar like Iran tried, and we banned them from using SWIFT. How many here have made wire transfers before? So do you know what a SWIFT number is? It's a code that you plug in, and this SWIFT system is what transfers those dollars from one person's account to another person's account. Well, Iran decided that they were going to sell oil only in euros. They got banned from SWIFT. But there's countries right now coming up with a replacement for SWIFT, and it doesn't use the dollar. It's the Sukra system. And Iraq started selling oil for euros in Libya. They were talking about creating the gold dinar.
I wonder if that has to do with Saddam and Gaddafi being taken out.
That were trying to use something other than the dollar. Then we've got gold competing with currency, and there's a lot of talk around here about the gold dinar, and there's people that are actually using gold in some of the countries over here. And then in Utah has recognized gold and silver as money again. It's legal tender currency in the state of Utah in the United States. And then you've got physical gold accumulation. I'll show you later that China has accumulated an immense amount of gold, but all the countries with an up arrow, that's gold accumulation. Then we have gold repatriation. Germany has been asking for their gold back, and they're getting it. Venezuela has repatriated their gold from the Bank of England. As we add to the base currency, people get worried about inflation. They start rushing toward gold and silver. Iran ends oil sales in dollars, and they're taking commodities in trade for oil. They're taking, in Turkey, they take the local currency and then buy gold in Turkey and export the gold to Iran. So they're basically selling oil for gold. They do the same thing with India. QE2, quantitative easing, that's more currency printing in the United States. Libya, China and Russia bypassed the dollar. They did a bilateral trade agreement where they hold each other's currency and they do direct debt settlement without having to wire transfer U.S. dollars. Chinese president just recently said that the dollar as the world's reserve currency is a product of the past. Utah recognized silver and gold as money. China and Iran bypass the U.S. dollar with a bilateral trade agreement. Venezuela repatriates its gold. China and Japan trade directly. India and Japan bypass the U.S. dollar. Russia and Iran trade directly. Iran sells India oil for rupees and commodities. China and Brazil trade directly. Swiss citizens demand gold repatriation. African countries ban the dollar. In Zambia, you can go to jail if you use U.S. dollars. Quantitative easing number 3.
So what does that mean? Well, have you heard the news? The dollar is dead. You know, that's what it means in a nutshell. It's totally dead. So that's going to, you know, when they finally announce it over here, right, that the dollar is dead, which you already knew that once Iran and Saudi Arabia became official BRICS Plus members, that that was the beginning of an end anyways, because again, you know, the petrodollar has been around for so long, but now, you know, now that they are ready to deal otherwise, made it even more worthless, right? So it's just a matter of time, but you see, you got the shit show of an election, so you got a lot of titting and tatting. But you're going to have a lot of racial tension being purposely drawn up. See, they're going to rouse Judah up, aka Yahweh. They're going to rouse them up. And how are they going to do that? Well, they purposely got, for one, they got a Madame President, right? And they got Harris, right? So they're going to deliberately have Nero Trump use some racial slurs. Yeah, they're going to deliberately do that just to rouse Yahweh up. And there's going to be civil unrest everywhere. Between the both of them, there's going to be tit for tat, because that's what they do in elections. But this one's going to be even more so, like George Floyd, man. They're just going to rouse Judah up, man. You're going to see more and more, you know, little slurs here and there, because Trump is definitely a good actor. They're all good actors anyways, and they know how to play on this. So you're going to see a lot of unrest, man. Get ready, because, see, they're preparing for civil unrest. It doesn't matter which one of them wins, whether it's Harris or Trump. Either way, though, they're planning to lock down everything very shortly here, because the dollar is dead as it stands. You know, the economy is gone. You know, the dollar is worthless anyways. So it's just, they have to, you know, get everybody to believe that, oh, it was because of this civil unrest, and why this and why that, why they had to lock everything down. You know, then you got a fake pandemic, possibly monkey butt, but they may not even go with that. You know, they just wanted to keep the executive orders under that, you know, under just, oh, okay, well, we got this other pandemic here. They may not even use it except just to keep the executive orders open. So that way they can still have lockdowns and do whatever they want to under executive orders, you know, which may be just for civil unrest. Well, isn't that what they want, civil unrest, you know, under this shit show of an election, the election outcome, right? That's right around the corner, you know, as we head into September, right? We're getting closer to November, you know, and, you know, they're going to probably steal another election, you know, because there's no way that this Harris person, which really doesn't have a lot of background, could even win anyways, but they're going to do everything they can to rouse them up, you know, and that's what they're preparing for. In fact, a lot of people, you know, had, you know, pretty much gone to, you know, lengths to inform those that are in the Air Force.
Just got word in that the U.S. military, in particular the Air Force, is trying to release information to their service members, telling them to get their families prepared and telling them to get ready for potential attacks both at home and abroad. This says, according to the Chief of Staff, David Alvin. He's telling airmen in a newly released memo. Officials are now beginning to focus on updating family and mental health resources as they continue to highlight what they are calling an urgent preparation method that is necessary for potential near-future conflict both in the Pacific and possibly here at the U.S. homeland. The memo provided to military.com, shared publicly last week, was titled Refocusing Family Readiness. Now, guys, this is why I give you this information. It was about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, that I started telling you we were receiving info here on our site, on the channel, Full Spectrum Survival, example that we were giving to you, telling you that the military was getting the people ready for attacks, telling them to get their family prepared, some of them telling them to get out of the country if you're not an American citizen, or if you don't have some sort of substantial sustainability here or safety and security here. Now we're starting to see it come straight from the top in official public releases. They say that the service's term for increased strategy against Russia and China is offering an inward look. Our efforts to prepare the force for future challenges are essential, according to the memo. They will be incomplete without a parallel focus on family readiness. In order to meet this.
And that's another thing, is that Vladimir Putin had said a long time ago, and he said that if they're going to keep on arming those Ukraine rebels, the Ukraine, that Vladimir Putin stated that he would arm resistance groups over here in Babylon, so that's another possibility as well. When they're always accusing Russia of election interference. Now they just shifted everything to Iran, but nonetheless, though, Iran, of course, has sleeper cells over here, and don't forget that Jade Helm always meant Army After Next, so they are preparing to bring in the UN, to do away with the U.S. military, because, what was it that Trump and Biden both said, that they're out of ammo because they sent all their ammo to Ukraine anyways, and that they've run out of ammo, that they don't have the ammunition, they don't have supplies anyways. So pretty much, though, the U.S. military, well, they're going to send them over there to fight for the Israeli state. See, the Israeli state really needs the U.S. military to go over there and fight for them. So, well, who's going to monitor everything here? See, the UN Army After Next, that's what Jade Helm drills are really all about. So that's why they're saying to prepare your families, etc. You see, all that's coming very shortly here. The Most High is about to speed this things up, because again, a famine of the word is coming. The Telegram leader, he just recently got arrested in France, even though his publications was mostly a UK Telegram, but nonetheless, though, he got arrested in France, for what? For writing articles, for pretty much publishing stuff. Yeah, so, you can't really say anything against. Well, what do you think that's going to do to us? I mean, we're speaking against Esau Edom, right? Against the system. We're speaking against the New World Order. We're detesting everything he does. We're not protesting, but we detest everything about him, right? We're exposing him. Well, that's soon to become illegal, right? Because it's already illegal. And there are some people here in the U.S., like Scott Ritter, that's actually getting detained and, confiscated. Now, I know that these people are agent provocateurs. I know that Alex Jones is an agent provocateur. And that Scott Ritter often comes on his program. But Scott Ritter's also been on Redacted and a lot of the other ones. He's an insider, but nonetheless, so his home got raided by the FBI, the feds, just because he leaked some information, right? Because he had some inside information. So it's happening here, what you can and can't say. Well, what do you think that's going to do to us? You see, eventually, hey, man, this is, the Most High is about to remove his prophets. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the beginning steps of that. So we tell you time and time again, get this while you still can. And if the Most High is giving you the words to speak, go out and speak now. Find yourself a camp, and get, the blessing from the leader of that camp. That's what I did, so I could come out here and teach and have the blessing of Great Millstone, so I could use Great Millstone and be a part of Great Millstone. That's why I've been able to come out here as Israelite Foreigner Reading, right? Because before, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to use the GMS logo without doing that. I wasn't checked in proper, but I did check in proper, and I met with the Great Millstone camp in San Francisco, checked in proper and everything, and I had the blessing. And I still check in every now and then with Elder Zakan of Great Millstone, who teaches out of Sacramento and out of Vegas and Reno. Wherever he may go, he does a camp, He's even been to North Carolina, South Carolina. He's taught in many places. But nonetheless, though, have his blessing and just, still out here teaching. Teach the word of Yahweh Yahushai, because it does not go out void, And the whole point is, though, is that, Most High is about to seal the word, man. It's about to seal his elect. That's what this is all showing. That the elect, well, they're starting to get it, man. So, hey, that's a good sign, right? Because you're starting to see all these other prophecies come to pass, right? You're seeing Amalek drawing everyone into this war, right? You're seeing Esau exposed on everything. We're exposing him, and then, you have people within their own government exposing them, right? And every time they try to pull something, somebody else is already exposing what their plan is. So nothing passes us by. We already know what his plan is. Because we have the breakdown of these scriptures. We have the 100% truth. We can break down these scriptures and understand what his game plan is. And that is to draw everybody into this war. And that, this war is going to happen, and that anybody who takes the implantable MOTB, the micro C-hip, is going to be caught in this war. And that's being cast alive into that lake of fire. You're not going to just die. You're going to actually be cast alive, meaning that you don't just die there. You're going to be tormented. And that's what you don't want. That's why you fear the Most High now, and you cannot take that implantable micro C-hip. Because you fear the Most High, you fear the things that he's able to do. And you see these things that are coming upon the earth. There's no escape in the Most High, because it's the Most High that's doing all this. That this is the work of the Most High. That you have no doubts whatsoever. But you see, our people, man, 2/3 of our people ain't going to get it, And I can remember when I first received this, how much I wanted to go tell everyone, right? You get excited, you want to go tell everyone. It's like, hey, man, this is what I've learned. And they don't get it. And you really, really try with them, and it's not registering. They're not going to get it. They weren't meant to get it. And you do have to move on after a certain point. Hey, it's just a part of it, Most High never meant for everyone to get it, Sure, the Bible is out there, and everyone has one, right? But most people don't know how to even read their Bible, or how to rather they don't know how to interpret it. You need a prophet. You need, someone that can interpret these and give the proper interpretation to them, because anybody could read that and misinterpret it, right? You have that all the time. That's why Esau has been able to do what he's done. And that's why you have the 2/3, these false leaders leading the 2/3, and these leaders, they're misleading the 2/3, and they once knew the truth, but they took the petty reward, which is the little bit of money. Bishop Nathaniel once knew this truth, but he has turned away from it because he got paid off. He became a Judas Iscariot, because he was enticed by the money, and he enjoyed it. But like everything else, so that's been exposed, because again, they keep on changing their doctrine. They can't even tell you what the MOTB is, and they keep on changing everything else, right? That not all Edomites will be destroyed, right? And that you got to pray for Esau or you can't be saved. I mean, it goes on and on, in their false doctrines, which is really no different than what plantation Christianity is a falsehood. You can definitely see that he took the bait. It's no different than the Church of God in Christ. That's what I call IUIC. Really just another break off of Church of God in Christ. If you've ever been to one of those churches before, I know that I have, and I know what they're about. And I can definitely say that Bishop Nathaniel, the only thing there is that, okay, yeah, he tells you that you're an Israelite. He tells you what the Son of the Most High looks like, but they don't even tell you what his name is anymore. He tells you that he hates that name. That, we don't know the name of the Most High, that he had many names, and, still calling him by the name of JC, which is not even, there's no J in the Hebrew. But that's what they do. And you got many of them that are like that took the money. But, we could see right through them. And it's going to continue to wax worse, right? But hey, when we get taken off the streets and all that, yeah, you might see them, coming up every now and then. But they'll still have their podcasts. They'll still have their videos and all that, right? They'll still be debating with Vocab Malone, but they'll be agreeing with Vocab Malone a lot. You know, because of course they'll be allowed to broadcast, right? Because they already have their 501c3. You know, but you won't see us anymore, right? You know, because again, Most High is about to seal His elect. You know, because at the end of the day, those that were meant to get it are going to get it, and those that weren't meant to get it, they're going to follow, you know, those false prophets. And again, there are quite a few of them. But you know, the exciting part is that you know, we know that we've done the work, and we continue to do the work because there's still those that'll come in towards the end. I still look at myself as someone that came in towards the end, considering how long this has been out, and considering you know, that okay, you know, this has been taught for a while, but I feel that I came near the end, you know. But then again, you know, there's, you know, about 10 years ago or so is when I started getting this, you know. But like everything else, though, I finally started going out and teaching, you know, that, okay, you know, now that I've gotten this, I need to stop making excuses to go out there and teach. That's what Elder Brother Kazaka said from, you know, camp out there in Mississippi, I believe. I believe that's where he teaches. Well, either way, yeah, Mississippi. You know, he said, man, stop making excuses, go out there and teach, you know. So, you know, I checked in proper and eventually became, you know, at that time, Confusion of Faith Reading, and then eventually Israelite Foreigner Reading, you know, and started teaching, right? But, you know, this is where we're at now. You know, we're at the time, though, that the least of the flock, Amalek's going to draw everyone in, right? Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Most High that he had taken against Edom, which is Esau, and his purposes that he had taken against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. You know, and that's all you've been hearing about is the Israeli state, you know, that only the U.S. Can prevent the war. Only the U.S. Can save them, right? You know, so, you know, the Israeli state is looking to the U.S. to save them, right? You know, because, again, they've started this war, you know, and they're looking to the U.S. to spare them, right? Well, that's just it, though, is that now Hezbollah is firing back. You got Yemen firing back. Well, eventually, this is going to escalate to where Turkey starts firing back as well. Because they just threatened, you know, Israeli state not too long ago, some of their Mossad leaders threatened to take out Erdogan, saying that he's going to end up like Saddam Hussein. You know, and everybody knows that it was a coup to get rid of Saddam Hussein. You know, so they, you know, Turkey, Erdogan knows that, you know, so Turkey is going to be involved. We already know that Iran's involved. We already know that Iran's going to make a response, but they're just not going to do it on their timeline, you know. Everybody knows that Tehran and Beirut was invaded, you know, and they carried out assassinations there, so it's only a matter of time, so we know that there's going to be a response there. You know, we definitely know that these Iraqi resistance groups are also going to be involved, has been involved. And then we already know that, indeed, Saudi Arabia is also going to get involved because the Arab League is all going to get together. You know, they're going to be confederate, you know, together, and they're going to come up against the Israeli state. The least the flock will draw them in, you know. And of course Syria is going to get involved because, of course, they want the Golan Heights back. They've been wanting the Golan Heights back for quite some time. You know, so of course Syria is going to be involved, you see. And like everything else, though, when the Israeli state knows that they're surrounded, well, that's when they're going to make their move, the Samson option. When they know that they're surrounded, they're going to use the Samson option, and then they're going to take out Damascus, causing the city to become a ruinous heap. You know, that's when that event takes place. You know, not long after the MOTB is made mandatory. You know, see, we have the main outline on things that are going to happen. But before all that breaks out, you know, civil unrest is going to happen. And that's what they're preparing for, civil unrest. You know, because they're going to increase the card. They're going to play the race card on this election. That's why you got Harris where she is. You know, they're going to play not just the race card, but, you know, between male and female, right? Because you got a female running and just so happens to be on the race card. You know, they're going to deliberately have Trump, you know, make some slurs just to stir things up. They're going to do that, and all that is a bunch of acting, but they're going to get people stirred up with that. Of course they are, because again, they give you the illusion that these people are against each other when they're all for each other. I mean, RFK Jr., who you thought was against, the mandatory rollouts, just kissed the boot of Donald J. Trump, and in fact is going to be campaigning with Donald J. Trump. So you can definitely see that he kisses his boot, right? And I thought that he was against those companies, right? I thought he was against, Big Pharma. Well, he's kissing the boot of Big Pharma, right? Because Big Pharma controls Trump. Big Pharma controls the Biden administration. Big Pharma definitely controls Harris. Big Pharma controls Kennedy, So none of these people speak out against them, man. The whole thing is rigged. But they're going to give you the illusion that these people are going to do this, they can do that. And they're going to be so divided on that, that's going to eventually cause unrest. You already know that they created the January 6th illusion to make you think that it happened, because you have what they call provocateurs. And these provocateurs made it look real, right? Because that's what Alex Jones is. Alex Jones is really just an actor. In fact, he had another name before they called him Alex Jones. The guy is an actual actor, but he's pretty good at what he does, right? And he does give you a lot of insider information, but he's an agent provocateur. Hey, it's an Illuminati card. It's an Illuminati card game, right? He's an agent provocateur. And like everything else, though, he's an FBI agent. That's who Alex Jones really is. That's what the Illuminati card game calls him, So like everything else, though, he'll be leading the charge. I mean, the January 6th event already happened, right? Donald J. Trump is this charismatic leader, right? And then you have the other card that was just played, but with the assassination attempt. I'm trying to remember what they called that card, but nonetheless, they just played that card, though, where, he got gotten shot. I forgot what they called it. It'll come back later. But nonetheless, though, it's all a card game. Jogger's card was played. That was the Boston bombing marathon. We already know about 9/11 being a few of them cards, too. Terrorist nuke, was one of the cards. Quarantine was another card. So we already know that it's all a card game. See, they control the cards. How do you control it? They have a Hegelian dialect. That's what they call that. So they control both sides of the fence. They are the fence, for that matter. And like everything else, though, people are still caught in that illusion, of, the conservatives versus the liberals, the Democrats versus the Republicans. It's all an illusion. They're all on the same side. But, again, they all kiss each other off at the end of the election, So, expect there to be more riots, civil unrest, not regarding their kings, our princes, because the scripture spoke of these things, right? And expect it to get really bad out here, because that's what they're preparing for, and expect the UN to come in under the civil unrest, right? Because most of the soldiers are going to be go over there and fighting for Gaza, fighting a Gaza war, right? Because that's what the least of the flock's going to do, is draw them into that war. So while they're going over there and fighting that, they're going to bring in the UN over here, to police everyone. And not to mention, those that are resistant to the implantable MOTB. Yeah, you don't think that these FEMA camps are real. Yeah, they have that too. These re-education camps, as they call them. They're going to send a lot of people there too that are resistant to this. There's a lot of things that are going to be taking place very shortly here. And we've warned you about these things. The scriptures have warned you about these things. As we slowly but surely approach the third woe. Well, if I can get this app to work. Everything keeps interrupting me. I'm not sure if I can get this to work. It's just not acting right. Okay, finally. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. You know, what's that talking about? The third woe, right? Well, before World War III breaks out, well, what's going to happen? Civil unrest, right? And one people shall stand up and fight against one another with swords in their hands. There shall be sedition among men and invading one another, which shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You know, it's going to be total chaos everywhere. Man shall desire to go in a city and shall not be able because of lockdowns. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, men shall be afraid. You know, again, it's going to be kill or be killed out here. Man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Again, because, you know, they're eventually going to destroy the dollar completely, and they're going to make it mandatory that you take this implantable MOTB. Well, a lot of people ain't going to get down with that. So, again, they're going to be invading one another and stealing their resources because you're not going to be able to buy or sell, right? What do you think is going to happen when all this comes into play, right? You know, that's what they're planning. So, hey, you know, we have a total outline. And we pray that this comes soon because, again, this is not our rest, you know. So, like everything else, though, while everybody else is in an illusion, you know, we know what's coming, you know, so we're prepared for that. So hopefully this has been edifying. For that I want to say, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Wa Abab the Ball. Brakathum, Jehovah elect. Shalom.